Welcome back to DLC. I'm your host for today, and this episode we're taking a look at an exciting upcoming title. As always, I'll start by saying that we received a free review copy of this product on game.press. Today I will be taking a look at Crossfire by solo indie dev Evan Polkov. Currently slated to release on the 7th of July this year through Steam. However, if you are interested in trying this game, there is a demo available on Steam. Crossfire is a fusion of turn-based tactics and first-person shooting with roguelike elements. Now, that might sound like a lot of different genres to try and roll into one game, but Evan has managed to strike an incredible balance between the three. I'll start this episode by going over the gameplay loop and give you an idea of what to expect if you do decide to pick this game up. The game features a campaign mode and a multiplayer mode which can be accessed through Steam's Remote Play Together. In this multiplayer you can do 1v1 or it can be a free-for-all between up to 4 different teams. As you might expect with a turn-based tactics game, you play on a gridded map that includes various obstacles, random item drops and vantage points. One of the things I really like about these maps is the obstacles have very precise hitboxes to them. Take a fruit stall for example. In a lot of games the hitbox on this would just be a cube. You hit it anywhere and your bullet is blocked. Not here. In Crossfire, you could thread the needle over the fruit and under the sign to hit an enemy behind it. It really lets you do some interesting trick shots. For the turn-based elements, each critter is able to take 2 actions, a move and a shoot. This is a very trimmed down version of turn-based mechanics, but it works in the game's favour. The simplicity of the action economy makes it easy to pick up and play. Then we move into the first-person shooter element. When you decide to fire your weapon, you can aim it in the map, but as soon as you release the fire button, it switches to first person mode. Then, you have a very limited amount of time to physically aim your weapon, taking into account things like bullet drop, physics, and the weapon type you're using. This is not just a I aim at this target for a 79% chance to hit like other turn-based strategies, and it adds a really unique twist to the genre that I personally really enjoyed. And as mentioned before, when you get good enough you can pull off some pretty impressive trick shots. Finally, the roguelite elements. During the matches, there will be item drops that you can get, and between the rounds you pick from a selection of random weapons, armours and effects to enhance your critters. There's currently just over 50 items, which given the average length of the game is plenty to make sure you're not getting the same stuff repeatedly, but what's more fun? You can combine the items to make powerful combinations. As an example, you could combine a grenade with the healing rounds effect. Now you can throw a grenade at friends to heal them. You could combine a pistol with the bounce ammo so that you can trick shot round corners. Or even combining the assault rifle with quick draw ammo. It'll give you extra damage if you fire in the first few seconds or so. All this is to say, it's not your basic pistol, assault rifle, shotgun, grenade. You can add modifiers to the weapons to make them do more damage, shoot round corners, see through obstacles. There really is a lot of options. Then there are some weapons that are just unique in their own right. There's the flappy gun, where you have to Flappy Bird your bullet to the target, or the gun, where you fire a gun from your gun and then shoot from the second gun. I'm sure there's a lot more that I haven't seen yet, and the dev keeps adding to this game, so I'm sure there'll be even more. Currently there are 4 types of critters to choose from. You can play as the fox, the chicken, the fish or the alligator. The choice of team offers no special benefits, it is purely cosmetic. That being said, there is a degree of personality to each of them, portrayed by their design and animation. The foxes are quite cunning, the alligators are aggressive, the chickens are very self-assured and the fish don't even know where they are. With the maps there's a few different themes. There's not a lot of different maps at the moment, but as this game is still in active development, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot more coming out. I've seen recently that Evan is currently working on some new maps. But as I said, there's a few different themes. There's a Old West kind of theme, there's a haunted castle in the middle of a snowy forest, there's an industrial area in a volcano, and a nice tranquil garden with a small stream running through it. Each type of map has unique assets purposely built for the environment, so they really do stand out from each other. In all, while the mechanics of the game are quite simple to grasp, making this an excellent pick up and play game, the physics element do add a degree of complexity, while the roguelike elements ensure that there are a unique experience each time. This is a great party game to pick up and play with friends for half an hour. There's no lengthy tutorials and there's no complex mechanics to learn. I always like to try and draw a comparison with these type of advanced copies that we get, which can be difficult, especially with unique games like this. The best comparison I can draw is the Worms franchise, which I love. Critic Crossfire is fun, easy to pick up, but hard to master with an array of unique and weird weapons, much like the Worms series. Now unfortunately, I have to cover a major issue I had while playing this. The game is designed for Steam Remote Play together. When I tried to do this with a couple of friends, it simply would not work. I'd start the lobby, invite them through Remote Play, and then the lobby would absolutely tank. Latency would be through the roof, friends wouldn't be able to pick their teams, and the one time we did get into a game, we couldn't do anything to control our teams. I am fully aware that this is possibly down to my internet, a modem setting, or a Steam side issue, but it did dampen our experience slightly. I should emphasise that at time of recording the game hasn't been released and is still in active development, so it's very likely that these issues will be resolved by release date. I really want to try this game with other people, so when the game's in full release I will be trying again, we might even do it on stream. As the game develops, I'd love to see some character customization options, or even more base critters, similar to what you'd see in other party games like Overcooked or Worms. As mentioned at the time of recording, the developer has been working on new levels, and from what I've seen on the game's Twitter page, he's been actively adding more and more content, so I'm sure that when it comes to release there'll be a lot of new things for me to see. There's a passion project by a solo indie dev who's put a lot of work in already and is still putting a lot of work in leading up to the release. I'll link the game and dev's socials in the description. Absolutely go give them a follow and show your support by wishlisting and even try out the demo on Steam. That about wraps it up, so a big thank you to Game.Press and Evan Polkov for the opportunity to play this game before release. I'm looking forward to release day to see what this game becomes. See you on the next episode.